Hey, food friends. Hope y'all are doing well and staying cool. Thanks for joining me here today. It's like surface of the sun hot outside, so we're eating a lot of cold foods currently. So I wanted to share with y'all three salad recipes with no lettuce or salad greens. These are all healthy and delicious and easy to make with minimal preparation. We've always got one or two of these salads in our fridge during the summer at all times. Today, I'm going to be sharing a rustic bruschetta salad variation, an Asian flavored inspired cabbage slaw, and a very versatile three bean salad. Real quick for those new to the channel, I'm a former professional cook, helping encourage people to eat less fast and ultra processed foods and learn all this YouTube video stuff as a hobby. My name is Lee, but really I'm just a dude talking food. So let's get going with this first recipe, which is a very rustic version of bruschetta. Normally, bruschetta is a very small dice of tomato and basil, but Dawn and I had a version that changed my thoughts on this, and now I make a more rustic salady version. This can be added on top of proteins, or on a more traditional crustade, or it can just be eaten as a side dish with your meal. It's one we make a lot. I'm going to take around pound and a half, maybe 2 pounds of tomatoes and remove the meat by cutting off the sides. I remove the seeds and keep the leftover tomato cores. I'll chop all this up later and use it to make a vegetable gravy for a chickpea dish I'm working on for later videos. This tomato meat all gets cut up into large bite-sized pieces instead of the normal fine dice. I've also got some cherry tomatoes I'm going to cut in half to add to this. I want to use up all the tomatoes I got right now. Next, I'll remove all these basil leaves off the stems, remove any dark or extremely large leaves. Small leaves I'll add in whole, and then the larger ones I'll cut up into halves or thirds. I'm not cutting it up super fine like normal, but instead I'm using those big rustic cuts. And yeah, I know you're supposed to tear basil or it goes darker faster, but this is going to be in my fridge for days. I'm not cooking for a restaurant anymore, and this isn't going to change color no matter what I do. So I'm making it easy on myself, and I'm just going to cut up all this basil. Next, we're going to grate in our garlic. You can do one or two cloves based on based on the size and your personal preference. We really like garlic, so I went with two nice sized cloves. Then we're going to add our Pecorino Romano cheese, and this is a hard sheep cheese that's pretty friendly for people that have lactose issues. No salt. The cheese will have the salt we need. This is a really salty cheese, and then I'm going to add more cheese on top when I serve this. Now it's time for our extra virgin olive oil, and since we're not cooking this, I'm using the good salad olive oil. Then some acid in the form of balsamic vinegar. This is a nice sweeter vinegar that works really well with tomatoes. And then some fresh cracked pepper to taste. Then we're going to stir this all up good until everything is all mixed, and then we'll cover this and let it sit in the fridge for at least an hour, but it's just going to get better and better over the next couple of days. Our next salad is a very easy to make Asian flavored inspired slaw. And it's got a lot of ingredients, but the prep is pretty basic. Most of the ingredients are actually in the dressing. I've got about a pound and a half of cabbage shredded and two large carrots that I grated to start this slaw base. Then I chopped up half a bunch of flat leaf parsley pretty well. This is to add flavor so you don't really want big leaves. And you could also use cilantro or a mix of both, really. I just happened to be out of cilantro, so I went with parsley. Then to finish our vegetables, I cut up some green onions I had. I cut them at an angle so they don't roll all over the place. Now we're going to build our dressing, and this is where almost all the ingredients are. We'll start with rice wine vinegar, which is a sweeter, lighter vinegar. Some toasted sesame oil for that rich, nutty flavor. Then a bit of sriracha for the heat. For our salt, I'll add some soy sauce, which also adds that umami flavor. Then a little bit of my good extra virgin olive oil. And some honey to balance out the acidity. And then, of course, finally, all of our spices. Then we're going to shake all these up well to combine, shake it up good. Now we can combine it all. I had to move this to a bigger bowl to mix it, but it's going to shrink down a little over time as the cabbage wilts a little. We can pour the dressing over our slaw mix, Give it a good toss, make sure it gets all good, well mixed, and then we can put it back in a plastic sealed bowl and store it in the refrigerator. And, Dawn and I are going to eat this all week. This last salad is probably the easiest and most flexible. Many of the ingredients can be swapped out for something else, but this is my basic recipe for three bean salad. It's high in protein and it's a mix of sweet and savory that you can adjust to your liking. The base for this salad is a can each of kidney beans, black beans, and chickpeas drained and lightly rinsed. And to that, I diced up three stalks of celery and half a medium red onion. And notice that these are both diced smaller than the beans themselves. You kind of want to keep everything consistent. For fresh herbs, we're going to add a sprig of rosemary, a sprig of mint, and we want to chop this up really fine. Rosemary adds some savoriness, and the mint balances it out really well with freshness and lightness. And then we're also going to chop up very well half a bunch of parsley. It's my favorite superfood and it works perfectly in this salad. You can add in other herbs like cilantro and mint, but well, today I've totally used everything I have, so I'm out. This is it. The dressing for this is super simple. We're going to start with my favorite vinegar, apple cider vinegar. It's in my mind the perfect balance between tart and sweet for a vinegar. Then we're going to add extra virgin olive oil since this is a salad, and we don't want that high heat olive oil. We want that good, green, flavorful stuff. Lastly, we want to add some honey to balance everything out. This is one of those sweet and sour or sweet and savory salads that I just love. Now we're just going to salt and pepper this to taste. And remember, it's easier to add salt if you need more later than it is to take it away if you use too much. Then we're just going to mix all this up and put it in a smaller container for storage and throw it in the fridge with the rest of our salads. We're going to eat good this week. Thank you all for joining me here today, and I hope you all can use these recipes to replace some faster ultra processed foods in your lives. Thanks so much for your time, and if you could like this video and subscribe if you're not already a member, it would really mean a lot. Also, keep dropping those comments on what you'd like to see. I'm working my way through the list, and I hope to have some more recipes out really soon. Thanks again, everyone. Keep being amazing. Peace.